Hello guys and welcome to TFT World Set 16 Grand Final Lobby, game number 2. Enjoy!
Doesn't end earlier might be the better play in checkmate.
I feel like Tomino in the last tack round was a great example of having composure and then coming back and also then losing it again. But he did make the midway comeback after like a 7th and 8th place start.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Has PLE blessed our players or brain controlled our players to trying to pick Rumble here, Augment? No.
Basic is not a fan of the tactical breakdown.
Basic had the stream muted. He's making sure we're not poisoning his thoughts.
Bad.
Oh.
Branching out into Longshot Emblem, which is a game plan that Basic actually piloted in day 1. He played a Shadow Isles Callista Longshot. Curious to see what he ends up doing. He's also very comfortable on Demacia Longshots. He's one of the players that played the most of it alongside Bin Bin.
This is an interesting shot for Saya. Will he decide to hold these champions? Nah, he's going to go for the full. Patience is a virtue roll right here. Sometimes just watching those two Ishtal is just, it's so tempting.
You can always lock. I think you want to get the bar roll for sure,
Yeah.
so you can lock the shop and then just roll on 2-3, for example. Just lock twice if you're that interested. But there's a pretty high chance you're going to find a Nico and a Kiana anyway on your rolls.
And Dasik is going to go into the Bilgewater line. Already 2 items on the Twisted Fate. Will summon the Graves into his pool. And actually sold the Jinx. Wants to play around the Bilgewater a bit more.
Kiana, your favorite.
Only Kiana 3. Kiana 2,
Oh, okay.
I sleep.
Li Cao got Teemo from the Caretaker ally. He should have taken Artillery Barrage.
Teemo did get buffed. Big Mo is a little bit more of a thing as a tempo
Big
option
Mo?
in stage 2 and 3. It used to be during regional. I think a lot of players got it from allies and just insta-sold the Teemo. The whole way through used it as a subpart econ augment and just tried and played a normal game of TFT.
The way that Clement said the yep, I'm like, oh, you should still do that, Sel.
I think we've seen a lot of holds into like Mel or Annie specifically is the most common one if you have a Teemo start. So we'll see if Lisa goes that direction.
Looking at the augments, the very one-dimensional pickups from all of our players, we've seen 3 Patiences of Virtues, so players really know how strong this silver augment is in terms of the econ options, almost comparable to a gold augment if you really play around its strengths and play for a huge rollout on stage 4. We saw that branching out from Dasik, but we also saw Silver Destiny into power-up for Mori, so a risk that maybe he did not want to take, but now he has to embrace, so he has to hope the 3-2 augments are silver in this case. Or he ends up getting a silver. If he gets a gold, he's in big trouble.
Yeah, he really wants the upgrade all the way to Prismatic. 3-2, you do have a couple of options, like the...
If it's silver, it's a 36% chance for it to be silver and 61% chance for it to be gold.
Yep, the odds are actually still in his favor, but low rolls can happen. That's all we'll say here.
And it feels a little bit worse if you're not the one opting into those odds, because it is coming from Silver Destiny as well.
Does look like Mori will be just trying to angle once again for his most favored composition, the Darius LeBlanc. There are some good options in the Prismatic range right there. Invested is one of the top econ augments you can find. Actually, one of the only econ augments you can hit on 3-2.
What does that mean for Revan? What does that mean for Revan?
Is Revan going there too?
I'm not sure, but he definitely spiritually wants to be playing Darius reroll as much as possible.
There's 3
He does have a Draven
board.
unlocked, and he does have Patience of Virtue, so let's see if Revan puts his money where his mouth is. Yesterday he said he will stand his ground no matter what.
He said if he has a spot for it, he will do it.
He has nothing to lose. He already has gained his TPC slot.
True. That would be insane.
And this is a very fun carousel because we have multiple spats across the board here. Dasik actually picking up a Pan and Spatula being picked up by Aaliyah, who is currently angling for more of a Demacia board.
We see 2 players related in Forge, so it's going to be a very explosive 3-5. Artifacts will be coming through. Roll downs will be happening on these stage 3 lines, on the 3-cost lines in particular. With Patience of Virtue, especially a lot of gold to be used there. So stage 2 will get very difficult for anyone that is not trying to spike.
I have to call out, I think the lobby winners here have to be Lisa, who's able to just squeak by stage 2 with a very weak lobby. No one's actually playing seriously.
Big Mo.
Big Mo can go straight into Big Annie.
Juggernaut Emblem already locked in for Darthnub, very strong on Garen, so he is once again trying to angle his way into the line that he feels comfortable on. Even last game, he was able to perform in a 3- or 4-way contest all around that Garen.
And Aaliyah is not backing off either. Already has a pretty good upgraded Demacia board and has started to build some AP items.
I think the spats and the pans that were offered on the Stage 2 carousel makes that even worse. I think Garen's one of the best units to play into with the extra emblems. Demacia line, of course, as well for the spats.
Who will make it first? Oh, there's a Tarek. Where
Tarek
did
won.
you come from?
In the shop, as usual for the CN players. They're pulling some magic there in
The end
Guangdong.
classic. Only one 4-class in Stage 2? No, that's a little bit too few.
Waiting for the silver recombobulator.
We're missing the Wukong as well.
Oh no, not the Bin Bin tech.
Go fast 10 off of 2 4-class in Stage 2.
Bin Bin with one of the strongest starts in the game. Still would have preferred the Nico, but just using the Rumble instead now.
One consideration for both Bin Bin and Aaliyah, if they're not very low in HP totals, they can decide to hold their artifact emblems until Stage 4. This would eliminate all the gold-generating artifacts from the pool, so it would make it a little bit less random if they're looking for specific artifacts to enable AP comps.
Unless you really want Mogul's Mail.
From 3-5 onwards, maybe not the best use of a gold-generating artifact because you've missed so much potential to make money.
All right. Well, a lot of these boards starting to come together as we take stock. We've got a 5-win streak from Li Cao, 5-loss streak from Saya. A lot of gold there for Saya as well. Holy, 50.
We will see where he decides to land up, and I have a feeling that Saya is going to vacate the Draven line sometime soon. We basically never see him contest. He's always trying to play his own path. So this is what good players can do, right? They can wait until the 3-2 augment, pick what has the most synergy with their board, and then pivot elsewhere.
Dasik found an Mbessa already. What?
Has a Juggernaut emblem as well. Has a very interesting game actually set up here. Has a long shot +1, so torn between maybe committing to build one or more, using it just for resources for now.
Everyone just waiting for the augment round to kind of decide where they land up. People don't want to go into 4-cost AP flex. I feel like if they're offered an off-ramp here, they will take it.
Dasik could play into Slayers as well, potentially, with the long shot emblem and the Juggernaut +1 as well.
Especially important for Mori, especially with the Silver Destiny giving him that power up. Can he hit the Prismatic? If it's just a gold, that's a massive low roll for him.
We'll see.
And it's a gamble he didn't opt into himself. I guess he kind of did. It's a gamble that became another gamble, but we'll see if it ends up paying off for a player who needs it. Only on 3 points, 6th place in game 1, needs to come back in this game 2.
Oh!
It is going to be Prismatic.
Trifecta!
Does have Trifecta. This might push Revan off of any kind of reroll angles, considering it's a very good spot to take this.
Oh, but if you're Mori and you need points, do you not want to play for?
Don't confuse my boy. Don't confuse my boy.
I think he's scouting Revan, waiting to see what Revan commits to. Revan has picked solo play. That's a pretty good tell. You want to play into either Leona or the Darius reroll. Most likely the Darius, obviously, if it's Revan we're speaking about. We do see a Darius, too, from Saya as well, with advanced loan on his roll down. I think he's actually pushed to 7 early and used up all his patience rolls. So this could be a 3-way contest into some kind of Noxus line.
Wow. I mean,
Whoa,
yeah.
early Azir as well. Very interesting setup here from Saya. On 3-2. For Shurima, is it time?
That's the alternate game plan that we were talking about. I don't think he has the HP to pull it off, but we'll see if he can summon the Xerath. The most important thing about the Xerath play is you have to win one of those matches. So he's choosing, he probably should choose to spike very, very hard in the next round.
What a smart use of both of his augments here. Spiking on 3-2 instead of waiting to 3-5. Does want to stop the bleeding right now and also make the game plan a little bit harder for both Mori and Revan in the process. Really interesting. I think very CN-esque, right? Pushing lobby tempo so much in stage 3.
Yeah, does want to avoid, like we talked about, just getting stuck between Lux and Lissandra is probably the worst place to be on the patch. He's actually looking for the win right here.
Bow diff.
And that does mean he can lose the next one and then spike 3-5. What are these forecasts? Come on, it is making it a little bit anticlimactic if he's getting that much free stuff.
The Swain? Oh, and is he going to put the Darius back in the pool? No, he's just going to make a weaker board.
And Revan has to be sweating. He is fully locked in as well into the 3-cost line, has the Darius items, has the solo play, just probably scouting around and saying, uh-oh, are people catching on to my game plan? Am I finally being contested on this strong of a line?
Well, I mean, Dasic called it out at the beginning of the day, even before we got into games.
I will say for him, the most likely scenario is that it's just a two-way contest, right? Because Mori and him are probably locking heads, but Saya is taking himself out of the contest. He said, I actually have a better line to play for.
Do you ever
Xerath.
take this and actually go Jinx instead?
Yeah, for Mori, I think there's a good chance that he actually ends up on Jinx. If he can find the copies, sometimes it's better to contest if you just don't end up finding anything.
And the items are just really good for Jinx here as well. The better than they would be on Draven even. Whereas Revan has less of an out, having already built some AP items.
Yep.
I guess you could play into Leona Malzahar Zoe, but it's Revan we're talking about. I don't think he's pivoting.
No scout, no pivot in a different sense.
Are there any big spike units for Saya here? That's going to be the question.
It's a Swain pair, right?
Oh, okay, denied. Does pick up the Guinsoo's Rage Blade, so if he can just round out his front line and no one spikes harder, he wins the 3-5. Xerath early, that is a disgusting game plan.
That's crazy.
Revan has either the Guard Breaker, the Sterak Slam if he wants it, or he can hold this for a potential Nashers if he thinks he's losing these next few rounds anyway.
Ooh, I want to see the epic conclusion. Oh, well, there's an artifact first. That's the Latent Forge.
Looking around, Demacia long shots for Bin Bin.
He didn't hear you.
Gold
He
Collector's
has
very
Gold Collector.
Gold Collector's very good actually.
Oh, I no.
Gonna go for Wit's End in the end on the Kaisa. Yeah, two very good options for long shots. And Bin Bin's a player who played 4 games of long shots across the 2 days yesterday.
You didn't want
And on day one.
Kappa
Kappa Juice, unfortunately, is not my cup of tea.
It looks so cool though, with so many hats.
Did Saya spike hard enough? That's a big question here. Oh, he got the Seraphine too?
Wow. So surely that's a
While
yes.
still having gold or rolls left over from Patience, and now he can hold the Patience rolls even further in stage 4. Again, can push for fast 9, potentially has in a front line. And the Azir scaling as well to unlock 3 more units to fit in naturally. I mean, really, really strong setup here from Saya. Another game. There's the Xerath unlock already. We're on 3-5. That is just absolutely crazy.
Does he have enough HP to lose now to unlock the Nasus?
I don't think he even needs to be honest. Nasus is preferred though. That is definitely true, but if I'm in his spot, I'm happy to not lose HP.
Cool. Just getting Renekton in and get out.
Yeah, he's so far ahead of the lobby tempo, he doesn't actually need to find the tank.
Revan, yeah, finally gonna move the items, have the Sterak onto the Darius. Maybe wanted to greed it for a double solo play, double Gargle Stone Clip, instead gonna go for the Steraks.
Huge find for Aaliyah as well, one of the best mana regeneration items. Dawn Core for Lissandra and Invokers is going to be absolutely deadly when he does get there.
Vhagar!
Woohoo! That's a pair for Lead Sao. With the explosive growth means that you can actually start to get up to level 8, maybe even get the 8 Yordles in, try to get the Yordle grab bags, get some extra items in gold.
This is a classic game plan we saw at the start of the set, before the 8 Yordles was nerfed a bit, where you use Yordles as a way to just very cleanly tempo straight to 9. It's back when Annie was by far and away the strongest 5-cost in the meta. She kind of is now as well in some ways when she's 2-starred, so that will be the game plan for Lee Sao. Has still quite a bit of HP to work with, ideally wants to preserve, you know, around half of this going through stage 4, get to stage 5 to his level 9 roll down on 2 or 3 lives.
I'm pretty sure Saya got gold. I don't know why he has 67 gold after rolling down to 28. That has to be a Xerath charm. That's crazy amounts of gold.
Yeah. There's a Jinx pivot we talked about from Mori, so Revan has been respected on his line.
I feel like it was always going to be a bad choice to try to contest Revan or anybody on a 3-cost reroll. but you can pick another one with Trifecta and you're fine.
Yep. Mori will have a very hard task ahead of him. He's only sitting on 1 Jinx copy.
A little bit awkward for Saya here. No tank items that could come back to bite him coming into stage 4 if his 4-2 Augment is not some way to itemize a tank to buy time for Xerath to cast 1 or 2 times.
Big
Where
roll
is Darius
down.
2? Darius 2 should not be a hard ask, but there are a lot of players that are holding that. Mori also had a Darius 2 earlier.
Wow.
Sure it got sold, but this is tragic.
Ooh, just barely not able to get it in time. And that might punish him. Word from Lee Xiao, he might get a free win because it is going to be just a Darius 1. We talked about the Darius being the frontline where once he dies, everything kind of falls over. So really important to have that Darius 2 upgrade here.
He's going to go into a relatively weak board. Lee Xiao just still trying to coast around and get 8 Yordles, cash outs online. This is how we saw the TOC regionals pan out. It was Hua Mie winning at the end with 6 Yordles. You tech in the Volley Bear and the Shyvana. But maybe the Vigar is strong enough. He's hitting the backline already. Not enough units to take damage.
4 components unslammed for Revan, so I think it would be surprising if he could win this one. I think he just agreed to lose at the moment he couldn't get the Darius 2.
Final Augment, Duo Q. We did have the advanced win from Saya, so he's going to have to pick a silver Augment.
I thought Revan had to take the cash there. It actually skipped the malicious monetization. He's so far away from his copies, though.
Maybe he wants just more items, you know, seeing the downfall of Noxus reroll in the last game, Draven not having anything.
Goes for Pandora's. I think he knows he needs some backline. I just don't like this, I think, as you mentioned, Clement. He is just far, far behind. Wow. Triple luck shop.
Put that in instead. Why not?
And this is Demacia Longshot Master across the first 2 days. Bin played it more than any other player, found a lot of success on it, has a very good build on this Kaisa here with the Rage Blade, the Wit's End essentially replacing the Gunblade and the Archangel, so it can really scale as a solo carry.
But at this point, I wonder, do you actually just take these items since you have this Lex 2 and try to go for something greater than just the long shot?
I think you really want to play around the Wit's End, and it's only going to be especially good on Kaisa in this meta, I would say.
You don't want to put it on Silas?
Later, if he shows up.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
He could show up.
Darthnub also contesting on the Demacia long shots, but he has been beat. There's a lot of Garen copies already gone. Critical frontline missing for Darthnub. Can he pull off another miracle?
Trust. I mean, that's a Kaisa too, so that's a pretty big upgrade if he wants it.
I feel like he has to swap at this point. That's such a big boost.
And it has a good build for it as well, with the LeBlanc items plus the Gunblade here as well. 2-item Garen is a little bit sad. Garen 1 especially is also a little bit sad. Darthnub, I think, finding himself once again in the same exact position. Last in the HP totals, starting off his stage 4. Once again on the Demacia line, this time the AD, or more long shot-oriented version. But without the Garen 2 here, it's going to be pretty disastrous. Aaliyah, one of the strongest players in the lobby right now, off of that Donkor pickup.
I like how Darthnub had the same game plan in 1 and 2, basically gambling on 5 costs. Gilded Steel gave him that chance again, but this time not really finding the Zillion hit that he needed.
Big Galio stun there. So it's enough for now. And Aaliyah has rolled down to 0 as well. It's not like Aaliyah's trying to push 9 and just taking his hands off the wheel in stage 4. So a pretty important win here for Darthnub.
Revan on Last Life. 9 HP and a Dream. Still no 3-star upgrades for those Noxus units.
We have to lock onto him after we come back. This is going to be the roll down that defines his run. 32 gold. He's actually very far away from the copies the last time we checked. Maybe Mordog will bless him for another game. He is the Draven Caller after all.
And even if there aren't players going directly into the reroll line, the fact that a lot of these copies were out of the pool in stage 3 where you're not hitting the natural shops with Darius is also a problem. And this is definitely a spot where Revan, we've usually only ever seen him from very high roll Darius spots.
Wow.
Navigating a low roll spot is the difficult part here. It's only 3 copies of Darius still. I think there's no salvaging this game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Wayne 3.
What do you want, Wei? We're still 5 copies off, but if Necker believes, I believe.
I believe.
True, true.
Well, the Draven is nice, but I think the same problem remains that you have to rely on the Swain to be that secondary frontline for you. And there are still 3 Darius out. Saya has been on this Darius too, even now.
I think that for Revan, he's just thinking that, okay, this game's probably done. There's a lot of situations where you don't even build the Draven 3. You try to go for the critical carries right here. He knows that his chances are so low that he's willing to, gamble for the 1% chance comeback. And he's facing another strong board against Aaliyah.
Ooh.
Still no Lissandra 2, though.
Perfect fight RNG as well. The Volibear jumping onto the Darius. The Darius just barely healing himself back up and not dying, getting a lot more effective HP across his fight. So it's about fighting for placement for Revan. I think trying to outplay Starfnub is a big thing here, and then see if he can maybe win a few of those fights with good matchmaking in stage 5.
Dasik is locked into Bilgewater and actually has 7 copies of the Nautilus. You get the Bilgewater lesser duplicator, so you're actually only 1 off, and there it is. He will have a Nautilus 3 once he's able to buy that with the Silver Serpents.
The problem is we still have 2 fast niners in the lobby right here. Both Lee Sao and Saya once again holding hands, going toward the promised land. It's going to be so hard for these people stuck on 8 to actually contest this, even with the 3-star Nautilus.
Revan fighting Dasik now. Dasik has hit quite a few spikes. The long shot emblem on the MF with the very cool synergy between adding the Caitlyn and the Lords with the Warden makes up a pretty strong board here for Dasik. But it looks like LeBlanc now targeting down to the MF. If she gets her last cast off, that could be enough to win this fight. But right before she dies, she does get it off. So Revan will be surviving at least one more round here.
That's tough. I mean, now the HP totals have gotten quite close. You're looking at Saya, Dasik, Darthnub, maybe 3 players that Revan is hoping will fall first.
And Saya has to find 2 tank items here, or he could be in fairly big trouble. Yes, the Xerath is very good, but he has no frontline items whatsoever right now, and once the damage starts ramping up in stage 5, with the big DPS carries, he could be in trouble.
He has 100 gold, though.
Yeah, the gold is very strong. I mean, we saw his position in coming to stage 4, right? But he still needs tank items. Even if you're level 10, if you have no tank items, it's going to be a problem.
Even if your tank items are terrible, I almost feel like that much gold will buy you enough copies of just,
Like Shyvana, yeah.
He's up to 130 gold.
Oh,
he
rolling,
need another
rolling.
gold charm? Please, come on. Don't make the game so easy for him. Please.
Okay, let's go. Oh, wait, I mean, if you get Annie in, there's the tippers for you, too, if you wanted that. Xerath,
The Xerath,
too,
too,
wow.
that's absolutely massive.
Hold more copies. Why don't you?
And the Golem will help as well here, with buying some more time for the second should-be fight-winning cast from the Xerath.
That was from
Charms.
Yep.
Jeez. He just got 2?
All right, actually, I'm less impressed with this game because it came off a 1% Shurima roll. So, this is standard. This is standard. Still very impressed with the execution and the roll downs, but very high roll game for sure.
Fun game.
True.
That's what matters. Well, that was an easy win, but can Revan be lucky? Darthnub as well, very close to elimination. Finally able to get the Darius, and he has the LeBlanc in shop, so he just wants to be able to survive this match.
It's just one fight. The long shots are ramping, but I think it's going to be good enough. The Darius is going to heal one more time. LeBlanc is still alive. The Kaisa is down. Revan has turned the corner right when he needed to. The 3-win streak now could become a 6-win streak with the Darius 3 now online, with the solo play in particular just so strong to get more HP alongside the resists.
How does he keep on doing that? He only had 3 copies on stage 4.
He's the chosen one.
Maury, you had one job. Just don't pivot off the line.
Do you know what he did? He waited for Saya to sell the Darius on his board. And then he went roll, roll, roll. And we all know what happens, the theory about how it comes in waves.
It's great that Saya had enough gold to roll that early in stage 5, or else he would have maybe hit the more typical 5-2 roll down instead.
Very
Darthnub
cool.
and Dasik, one of these 2 players will be going down. Demacia AP with a long shot, the Kaisa, and Demacia AD for Dasik here.
I'm just looking at the Nautilus right here. He still has his shield on, hasn't been taken down whatsoever. Kaisa finally locking onto him, but is it enough damage at this point? Doesn't look like the... Oh, MF goes down in 1 shot.
The Juggernaut Garen is just way too tanky for the MF to break through. Unfortunately, Dasik not having the start of the day he was hoping for. A 7th place in game 1, now an 8th place in game 2. Now you do have to start playing a much riskier first or 8th style to catch up.
Oh, wow. We got news from Hupe-san, who's one of the reporters on the sidelines. Actually, Revan got the Darius 3 because he sold his Draven 3.
I think that's the right
yeah.
play.
Yeah. I feel like in those situations where you don't have the gold, you have to sell the Draven.
Wow. I mean, what a phenomenal goal, though, to be able to get here with it. That was enough.
It was at least 2 points, that play.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the mastery of the line, to know what spots you have to make some unintuitive plays to find more placements. Once again, Darthnub facing a player that is also facing elimination with Revan here. Is the Darius going to be enough to heal past the damage coming out from the Lux and that Kaisa in the backline for Darthnub? The Garen's also really tanky here. The LeBlanc has to burst it down.
I think Kaisa just started on that unit way too late at this
One more
point.
heal does not come through for Darius. I think that might be a win for Darthnub. It's
1v1.
so close. The cast does not come through from LeBlanc. Revan is also down despite finding the Darius 3 in 7th place. Emiya, once again, 7th and 8th. Not a good start for the region.
No, I think it's tough because at some point the pressure just gets to you. And I think unfortunately for Revan, he just like didn't have enough gold to get the Darius early enough. Imagine if he had found Darius 2 a couple stages before. Then you actually might have enough HP where you can take a hit like that and you don't have a 7th, that's a 5th or a 4th.
He was 3-way contested on the Dariuses, so it was expected for him to hit a little bit later. I will say I'm very impressed with Binbin's game plan. I thought he was going 8th very quickly. He rolled down deep, did not find the Kaisa 2, goes straight level 9 and sells it for the Ziggs upgrade instead.
I was considering it might have been a pivot into Anti-Flex off of the Yordles, but instead playing into the Ziggs, kind of the really OG way to play the Yordle line. Saya is, of course, a scarier player now. He has found both of those Warmogs now, has some more frontline, and the Xerath too has so much damage coming out from his cast with this build.
Yeah, I do think this game is going to come down between Saya and Aaliyah, the 2 highest caps that we have on the board here, while Binbin is just looking for placements, looking for any chance to hang on.
Both Darthnub and Binbin had pretty good games to start off game 1, but now it's about just continuing to accumulate those points to get to that 20-point check. It is the Xerath down. Darthnub takes a win, and Binbin is so close. That's another win for Binbin, keeping them alive. Lee Sao now very close to the end.
CN is looking very impressive as a region. All 3 of these players putting up some really interesting game plans to try and make it to these high cap boards.
That is a disgusting Silas right here. That's known as the mini Triforce, the Yordle spatula. It gives you the extra armor resistances and the extra AP AD, and then you get attack speed and HP from Yordle. So it's incredibly strong Silas, probably the strongest unit we have seen in this lobby.
Who would have guessed 2 players on Ziggs carry coming into this late game?
Well, there was at one point, what did they call it? Rigs? Well, there's no rise, but you know.
Get to the Xerath. Xerath has a bit of RNG in him.
It's just not enough frontline. It looks like once again for Saya, his board is melting a little bit too quick, does not have enough time to buy for that second Xerath pass to come through cleanly.
And down goes Binbin there, being basically destroyed by Mori. Strong combat augments across the board for him. Great pivot into the Jinx line. Is this another top 4 for Darthnub? I would be so incredibly impressed.
It might be.
If he can dig himself out of these low roll spots again and again.
If he runs into Mori, though, I might be a little bit worried. You have 2 scaling backline champions with the Jinx and the Kaisa, and Mori has been on a roll, 3 win streak so far.
Yeah, this board for Mori is absolutely disgusting. Bronze for life plus the...
Trifecta. So much combat power coming through. The big thing is, usually, if you have this much combat, you don't have gold, and you don't hit your 3 stars in the first place. But if you do hit that 3-star and you have all this stuff added on top, it's just really, really hard.
Makes notice that Mori actually got several copies of the Jinx and the Sejuani early, so it wasn't too expensive for him to upgrade those units.
Ooh, Saya after a good start, like you mentioned, just not hitting any of his frontliners.
Shyvana can save you, only if she's 2-star.
Has one more anvil to work with to buy a little bit more time for the backline carries to work their magic.
Aaliyah versus Saya. Which one will win? I feels like it must be an Aaliyah win here, just knowing that you do have the Zillion and Lysandra fully upgraded. But the Xerath, I mean...
the barrage.
Oh.
Oh, wipes out the entire backline in one shot? That's so unlucky.
It looks like it is going to be a loss. I couldn't believe that. The Xerath just said, I'm going to nuke the backline.
If even one backliner survived, there was a really big lull in the DPS chart coming out from Saya's board. That could have been a win for Aaliyah, but only the Wukong survives. He can't do it by himself. Darthnub, another great placement from the Americas player. A top 3 from a doomed spot. 16 HP, 4 loss streak on 4-1.
He still
was
level
contested
8.
yet again. He's fighting for placements, but he just keeps scratching his way up the standings.
How did he beat that Sylas 2 and level 9 Yordle? Capped board. There was a Volibear and Shyvana there, but he still manages to clinch it. Absolutely insane stuff from Darthnub.
The Gilded Steel, I think, just really impactful as well with this specific setup. For the second game he gets in a row, that could be the secret sauce that he's piloting into this top 4.
Durability plus Juggernaut Garen. That was the key to his
Just too
success.
tanky.
Another big test here for Saya as it's now against Mori's Jinx board. Can the Xerath be as lucky as in the last game where you are able to snipe that backline? Jinx actually takes a huge hit.
But he's not down.
The Xerath couldn't reach the Jinx on the opposite corner, and for that reason, Mori is able to win that fight. Saya is taken down.
Oh, it's a double kill.
Darthnub taken down as well. Mori, who only got 3 points in game 1, comes back in a big way. In the